That's Twisted.
This is Mark McNease with my co-host Rick Rose, and you're listening to another edition of The Twist. Welcome to The Twist Podcast, everybody. It's our 70th show, Rick. Big deal.
Oh my God, we moved on from the 60s. It is a big deal.
We are. It's we're in the 70s now. So we were just talking. I said, "Oh, we should record this." We were figuring out like who would play us when we do the show in studio, and you're flying into New Jersey every week to do the podcast. Who would voice you?
Who would voice me? I haven't figured that out. Yeah, we like the idea, folks, because we're going to step it up. I'm going to fly to New York, or Mark's going to fly to Madison every week, and we're going to have voiceover people do our voices on the podcast. I don't know. I'm thinking right now, but it won't be I don't know if it'd be a cisgender or transgender folk. Uh-oh. Did I go down the wrong path?
No, that's okay. But I do have a news item about them. They're all upset with Scarlett Johansson.
They're not happy, but they don't understand Hollywood, Mark. Because in Hollywood, you're looking for a name. And understandably, outside of Laverne, there's really not a huge cisgender actor name in this, I'm just saying.
No, I know. A lot of it has to do with the money. But I also understand their complaint. I mean, you go all the way back to Hilary Swank in Boys Don't Cry, which was a phenomenal role in the movie. But it's pretty common to see, or Jared Leto, to see, straight cis people playing transgender characters. But you certainly never see the other way around. But that's true, a lot of gay stuff, too. You don't see very many openly gay actors playing straight people.
No, and you have a lot of gay actors. You do. You have it both ways. But like in the early days, there were very few gay characters played by gay actors.
I know who I want to voice me.
I've decided mine's Hilary Swank, since you gave
mine
me
Mine is Dolly Parton, because there's a contestant on Big Brother. I really like her a lot. And I was so afraid. They turned her into a robot for a week, and I was afraid she was going to get voted off. But she sounds like Dolly Parton, and I just love that voice. There's something really motherly and comforting about it, and squeaky. It's a little high little voice. I like it.
You mean Dolly Parton?
Yeah, I want Dolly Parton to play me.
I had accused you off camera or off mic of sleeping with Maxine Waters last night. Why is everybody coming down on her?
Because she's a black woman. She's a woman and she's black, and it's an easy target. We're at this point, it's so time to stop pretending that a huge portion of his base and his supporters are not white nationalist racists. Of course they are. They deny it, because who wants to say, oh my gosh, I'm a racist? I had that conversation with Frank the other day. I said, at least I'm able to say that sometimes I say racist things, and I have a racist thought, and I can identify that, and I can identify my own internalized homophobia. But a lot of people just can't go there. They will never, ever, ever admit that their motives are racial, ever. Even though they hated they hated Barack Obama in large part because he was a black man telling the white man, what they perceived as to be the superior race what to do. I mean, that's part of the reason they hated his ass.
It's weird to admit, but two of my friends that are posting about her against me when I make comments about the president and try to divert and say, let's talk about Maxine Waters. Isn't she doing the same thing? They're the same ones that have been attacking Obama. Both of them used to work for me, as a matter of fact. I don't view them in our personal relationship. We don't, talk, demographics, so to speak, but I guarantee they are. And so it is very obvious. They think they're hiding, but I can tell you point blank that, oh yeah, they would definitely be racist. So, and it is sad because, where the presidency is headed is, of course, to create a country based on hate and
autocracy. And we're going to talk about that because we're coming up on November, and I'm realizing, with alarm that this election is extremely important. This is not just any midterm election that people can sit out. This election is really going to determine where we go as a country. If our republic survives, if our democratic institutions survive, or if Vladimir Putin will have achieved his wildest dream. So I believe that now. I absolutely believe that this election is extremely crucial to our future. But let's get into the show.
Well, yeah, I think we're already into the show. The midterms, definitely. I know our goal, guys, is to present some headlines that are either twisted or we twist them up. We speak on them, and then we have a final thought. Each of us kind of final big comment, and a quote. But about the midterms, it is interesting. A lot of female candidates, interesting too, being in the video business like I am, or the storytelling business like we both are. It's very interesting because a lot of these women are using videos to identify with the audience and let them know who they are. Because a lot of them are unknowns, that kind of just come, and they're telling their stories through video. And it's an interesting thing because it's a way we're going to skew things. But I will say, I think that today at 9 p.m., I think Eastern Standard Time, the president has said he's going to put forth the name of the person he wants to be the next Supreme Court justice. And I believe that movement tonight could be the beginning of the end. Very crucial. His top three candidates, of course, are probably going to start the movement should Roe v. Wade come before the court again. And I think appointing someone who's 50 years old is a scary thing.
Well, and it's a stolen seat. It was absolutely stolen by Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. And what else was I going to say? Oh, the other thing, I wanted to say this because I keep, I'm reading all these analyses and all these scary things about the Supreme Court possibilities, and it's all centered around Roe v. Wade. And then some of them started throwing in the Affordable Care Act, and I see very little other than from the gay people about Obergefell, about marriage equality. It's like why isn't Chuck Schumer just as concerned about marriage equality as he is about choice and abortion? It's really pissing me off because I'm never going to have an abortion. I support a woman's right to choose, but abortion is never going to be a part of my life. But marriage is. And so I want more of these Democrats saying, excuse me, this is an equally important issue. So there.
Well, we could go on and on about those things. But it's a big week for him as well. Of course, he's going to England, ending his week in England.
No, he's not going. He said he's not going. I just read that he's not.
Announcement?
Like recently, like within the last 5 minutes, I read that he canceled his trip.
Jeez, because I was reading last night, getting the show ready at 3 o'clock this morning when he was ready to go. Of course, he had given up his golden chariot that he wanted. Remember, that was how he was going to go to London. Wow. Why?
No, I just read that he canceled it. Of course, it's because of the baby balloon. It's got to be.
Guy. Maybe it's because one of the princes married a half-black woman. That's probably why.
That's possible. And then also this nonsense. I mean, Americans they're so asleep. They're so asleep. Even the media, too, because I'm reading in the media about how Trump he's been looking at the judicial records of the finalists, and, he treats it all like one of his reality.
A game show.
The idea that this man reads anything and comprehends it is preposterous. But like the newspapers, the media plays into this crap every fucking day. And like Trump he's considering their judicial records. Give me a fucking break. It's the Heritage Foundation. He's being fed this shit. He's always fed this shit. And then he looks at him and maybe he likes the lady nominee's boobs, or the guy, maybe he thinks he's too short. He's a fucking piece of crap. And I've just had it with people who think he's a good president. It's horrible. Anyways, Rick, I wanted to start.
Well,
No, I don't.
Well, it can comment on that. Of course, we talk about impeachment. Of course, Maxine Waters calling for it. Other people are. And Walmart this week, you saw, had to pull their controversial Impeach 45 clothing from their website because of an uproar of his supporters. That's a whole nother thing.
Taking back the House is like 1,000 times more important than this impeachment shit. Whether he gets impeached or not. If we don't take the House, he's never getting impeached. So people need to fucking stop it with this impeachment shit and get out there and vote, because it's rigged. They've gerrymandered. The Republicans have gerrymandered the districts. It is not going to be easy to take back the House. No, even though we will have more votes. We always have more votes in aggregate than the Republicans, and we're under minority rule. So people need to just wake up, make sure you vote. Now, we got to move on because I'm getting upset.
Well, these were topics we were going to have.
No, we're going to, but I'm like, I just get, it's like
we're done with those. We're done. We're moving
my
on.
Fucking day.
Done.
Here's something cheery. Let's start on a cheery note. 3 suspected poachers were eaten by Africans eaten by lions in Africa. Well, they are African. They're African lions. But yes, the poachers were out to kill the rhinos. And of course, there aren't very many of them left. And all they found was like their boots and stuff, or a foot or something. I thought it was fabulous.
That's amazing. Well, that ties in with my story. We are symbiotic today because I'm talking about the white rhino. Scientists are creating test tube rhino in hopes of saving the dying species. The last male of the white rhinos died last year, a year before, leaving 2 women that are both fertile, 2 females. Sudan was his name. The 2 other ones are fertile. So they're Nanjin not Najin and Fatu. So what they're doing is they're creating. They took the stem cells out of them, and they're creating the ability to form sperm and form an egg, and they're going to create a test tube white rhino, which would be the first time that we're doing something with the most endangered species. So interesting.
Awesome. Trump administration opposes major breastfeeding resolution. This caused alarm at the World Health Organization because they were all set to pass a resolution just that it would be encouraged, that breastfeeding would be encouraged, and the Trump administration opposed it. They said it was because this is so funny too, because they opposed it until Russia put it forward. Like other countries put it forward, and the United States was like, "We're not going to go with this." They said it was because it would hamper women's food choices for their babies or some shit. And then Russia puts it forward, and all of a sudden we're behind it. It's so fucking creepy with this Russia shit. But I also think what's really behind that was Mike Pence. It didn't want to see no boobies. Keep the boobies covered up in public.
I know, it's all that. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, hide those
boobies. Of
course,
we have a female candidate running for governor.
We don't want Pence getting hard, man. We really don't.
No, we can't have that. But we have a female candidate running on the Democrat side, or at least in primaries for the November election here to defeat Scott Walker. And she did a big commercial about breastfeeding. We talked about it on the show.
I like that.
But here's the irony of what's going on with Trump. And then I really got to move on from him because I don't want to spend any more time on him.
He's like sucking up the air.
This is just about his
campaign.
It. I know. But of course, as he's going on his embargoes and coming out stronger against U.S.-Chinese trade situation, of course, this Chinese company announced that they've been hired to do the flags for Make America Great Again campaign from 2020. That's going on. Then, of course, yesterday, I think, or the day before, Mar-a-Lago filed a request to the Department of Labor for 61 additional visas for foreign servers and cooks at the restaurant. It's just crazy. Just speaking out of two sides of his mouth. I think I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let's move on. Ring that bell.
It's a cult. That's what it is. We're living in the times of an American cult. By the way, today is the anniversary of the 14th Amendment. It was passed on July 9th, 18 something. But that's the amendment that gave slaves, African Americans, citizenship, or not. I mean, by then they had been emancipated, but that was the amendment that gave them citizenship. And so happy anniversary on that monumental, but still there was still an awful lot to go. I mean, we're still climbing that hill, but anyways, anniversaries.
This is a good one. We've had him as a guest on our show, an early incarnation of the show. We used to do a show. What was it called, Mark, when we interviewed
who the hell knows? Mark and Rick go to town or something.
Yeah, we did something. Ronny Crawl. Remember Ronny Crawl?
She's married to Elvis Costello.
No, this is a boy. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Anyway, Ronny crawls out of Chicago. I think it was like America's Top Model or something like that. And he's an out man. But anyway, he's formed a party called the People's Party that I'm backing. He's declaring that he is going to run in 2020 for president. And you go to his website, Ronny Crawl, KROELL.com. Check him out. I just want you to know he's running, and he's created an independent party. I guess the studies show that, like, the last survey, when was it, in 2006, maybe it was that long ago. But people still identify themselves as independent, and we might be finding that too. But he's running. Interesting. Check his website
I like
out.
that. Just a note on that once the nominee is chosen, we must get behind them, whoever it is. No more Jill Steins. No more fucking Jill Steins and Bernie Sanders and all this crap. We can't. Yeah. We're losing our country.
Yep.
But I think it's great. Where are the babies, Mitch? McConnell pursued from restaurant by angry crowd.
That was big.
Now, I'm into this. I'm supporting this because I think we talked about this the last time. We are actually in a very perilous time, and the Democrats in Congress have almost no power. And so this idea that we have to be civil, you're just letting them, you're just giving it to them. And no, we don't have to be civil. If one of these horrible autocratic motherfuckers is in the restaurant and you have some, what else are we supposed to do? Just like be polite and wipe our little mouths with our little napkins and vote. It's bullshit. So I'm all for letting these people know that they're what they've done to our country, whatever that takes, as long as you're not killing anybody. But I worry too that that's going to be in the mix at some point from some direction, because it's extremely volatile times we're living in. But I have no problem with asking Sarah Sanders, what's her name, to leave the restaurant, or chasing Mitch down the street and saying, "Where's the babies?" Because these people are doing some evil, evil shit. And it's time Jesus didn't have any problem with it. He had no problem overturning the tables and saying, "Get out of here." So we shouldn't either.
Right. It goes down to tying in with that. The Statue of Liberty takeover. A woman started climbing at 3 p.m. on the busiest day of 4th of July in protest of the babies, what's going on in our country. And I respect her. I mean, the news stories, of course, like, oh, it shut down the National Monument when millions of people are coming, whatever. But good for her to climb. And then yesterday in my own backyard in Chicago, actually it was Saturday, did you see they shut down the Dan Ryan, which is the freeway that goes through the city into the south side, to deal with gun violence. This was led by a Catholic priest, if I'm not mistaken, Reverend Michael Flugger.
Wow.
And they marched and they shut down and organized well to make a claim and say, we've got to put spotlight on crime, joblessness, and poverty that's plaguing city neighborhoods. And next weekend, I was in a church yesterday called City Church of Chicago. If you have a chance, guys, it's a wonderful church. But they're doing a thing called Hands Across the City. They're making their voice heard about what's going on in the city of Chicago and gun violence in the country by holding hands from east to west, north to south in that city. I don't know how many, hundreds of thousands of people are coming down to show their support of that.
I think that's great.
I love it.
We got to show our support. I'm just looking for this news item about Trump canceling his trip. My next one is this Jim Jordan, this guy, this Freedom Caucus guy, who was that he knew about this doctor or whatever, the sports team. Gosh, I should have read it. Seventh wrestler that helps if I just read it, right? Seventh wrestler comes forward. Jordan definitely knew. A seventh former Ohio State University wrestler said Saturday that he believes Representative Jim Jordan, Republican, Ohio, of course, knew about inappropriate behavior that took place in the school's athletic department 3 decades ago. Now, of course, Jordan is saying he didn't know anything about it and that they're all liars because everybody knows anyone who accuses a Republican of sexual misconduct or knowing about it is a liar. But I totally believe him. And what I'm waiting to see is, first of all, I've read that the mainstream media is kind of like really not covering this. You see it in the Times or the Washington Post, but you're not seeing this on TV. Why is that? Number one. And number two, these are men. These are men who were abused on the wrestling team. So it's interesting to me that is Trump, because Trump, of course, now is defending Jordan and saying they're all liars. I believe Jordan and they're all liars. Yeah. It's disgusting. It's just vile where this Trump man takes the country and how so many people immediately say, of course they're lying. They're not lying. They're men. I mean, not that has anything to do with it, but I'm just trying to get at the gender disparity here because women, it's one thing to say a bunch of women are lying because a lot of people have this idea that women are like, that's just their nature. But the men, calling the 7 men liars I got to see how it plays out. It's really interesting to me. And I bet you some of them are Republicans too, the only way he's ever going to be held accountable is to get him out of office. That's it.
It's going to happen. I mean, like you said, referencing back to the earlier part of the conversation, get out and vote, do your thing, hold the media accountable, do what you can. Here's one. The media is taking it into their own hands. This is entertainment media. Sasha Baron, Sasha Cohen. He's teasing that it's a new project with Trump. He did a 4th of July greeting on his social media, basically intimated that his next movie is going to take on Donald Trump. And I think it's also taking on O.J. Simpson. He did a prank, I know, in a hotel room that they referenced. And I can't wait to see it. I love him. Are you a big Sasha fan?
I did like him. I really liked him on the MTV Awards or whatever it was. Maybe it was the Grammys. He was driving a big old Cadillac and Madonna came out of the back. That's back when they had he was part of her music video.
He's a lot of fun though. And I think taking Trump on will be interesting. Trump, of course, hates him. They've been, barbed tweets back and forth about who each other is. Jumping into my next subject, because I find this so interesting, referencing back again to a guest we had on our show. Remember we had that guy that was helping women have babies, and he had remember
300 children or something.
Yeah, something like that. This American guy that was prolific, and he even told us his diet to create better sperm.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yes, I do remember.
Kid. It was good. Well, now there's a Japanese guy kind of up to a similar thing. To date, he has 16 surrogate babies. He's a Japanese businessman. His name is Mitsutoki Shigeta, and he's flying to Bangkok where it's happening. And they found him now in this old house, and he has he had 16 kids with 3 different women taking care of the kids. He wants more kids. Now they've taken the kids out because they believe it's dangerous. They're concerned that he's raising or bearing these children or having women bear the children for him so he can sell them. or do something weird, they're not sure. They're saying it's not right behavior. But when he's questioned is he's fighting to get these children back, Mark. He's contending he wants to run for political office. So he wants these kids to be able to go and help vote him into a political
or something.
Yeah, right. The kids are in diapers. That's going to go real far. Anyway, it's kind of a creepy story.
It is creepy. The whole thing, that whole avenue of human behavior is weird.
Weird.
Yeah. Can we do that? Can we call anything weird anymore? Is it like nothing's weird? That's offensive.
We can call weird is the new normal. I mean, whatever.
Well, in London Pride recently, last week, a number of anti-trans lesbians disrupted the Pride Parade. They laid down in the street with signs. Apparently, there's this fringe group, small group of lesbians, possibly around the world, but certainly in London, who think that trans women are racing lesbians. It's interesting, whatever it was, but it caused quite a stir, quite an uproar.
Well, you can ring the bell. I've got another story, but I'm going to go back to that because my big story that I want to talk to is the breakdown of the LGBT community. The literal breakdown. A study has just been conducted. BuzzFeed was part of it, so take it for what it's worth. But they worked with a company of Merit to survey the LGBT community and just find out who we are. So I'm going to talk about that at the end of the show. But moving toward the end of the show,
let's move on toward that.
Yeah, let's move on. Here's a creepy little story. I love these headlines because they kind of gross you out, like my health stuff.
Yeah, your bugs, eaten by bed bugs.
And dying of. That's a whole nother story I read about these kids that are being taken away. Did you see? Well, we won't go there. No. I promise we won't go there.
Okay.
Anyway, women declared dead, found alive in a morgue freezer. Officials in South Africa are investigating an incident where a woman was declared dead at the scene of a crash, taken to a morgue, placed in a freezer, and then she was discovered to be alive. This just happened a couple weeks ago.
Was she covered in bed bugs?
No bed bugs.
Now, the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Premature Burial, was about that because back in the day, before they embalmed and everything, people sometimes did get buried alive.
Ugh.
Scary.
What happened? That's scary.
I'm coming down. I've just got a few more left here. Speaking of immigrants, which we weren't, but the Army is now discharging. Did you read that? The Army is reportedly discharging immigrants who enlisted with promises of citizenship. Now, you and I, of course, remember 9/11. It was only 17 years ago. But after 9/11, you had all these people who wanted to join the Army to help our country, defend our country.
Right.
And there was a program started by Bush, and I believe Obama continued it, where if you're an immigrant, you could join the Army and be fast-tracked to citizenship. And now, all of a sudden, like thousands of these people are being discharged and getting like these terse little notes, like you're no longer wanted in the Army. It's really horrible. But anyways, and I also wonder, like, some of them absolutely died for our country in Iraq and Afghanistan. They absolutely died for our country. Are we supposed to dig them up and throw their remains offshore? I don't know. It's horrible what's going on.
Those are the stories that seem to be buried in the news, the stories that really matter, like what is going on here. I can't end the show without a moment to thank Toys R Us for all their years. They closed down their stores.
Oh, that's so sad.
Week ago Friday, I think it was, in the end of June, and an anonymous person actually bought $1 million worth of toys at a North Carolina location and donated them to charity. Actually had them boxed and wrapped and sent out. The storekeeper, the manager of the store in Raleigh, North Carolina, said that they didn't have enough inventory in their stock, so they reached out to other stores. But that was nice, instead of sitting with all this inventory on the shelf, someone gave $1 million worth of toys to across the country. There's a song that I heard on the radio, and you should check it out. It's on YouTube. It's called Toys R Us, of course. It's in a minor key. The guy's name is Chase Holfelder, if you want to check him out on YouTube.
Okay.
And it is the saddest version of the Toys R Us jingle you will ever hear. It is sad. He wrote it in a low key. Or a minor key. He didn't know it'd be so sad. But it's an RIP to Toys R Us from 1948, Mark, to 2018. Crazy.
No, I'm going to watch it. Listen to it. Now, I got two more things. One is a big story, and one I don't want to not include. So what do I do?
Go, both. We got time. Go.
Short. Both of them, and then you'll wrap us up.
Yeah.
Because you were going to talk about Miss America.
Well, I was. It'll be short. I'd rather talk about Selena Gomez cruising when she didn't give a shit that her ex-boyfriend's engaged. They have images of her on the Hudson River yesterday in her bikini. Like, Justin, who?
Okay, anyway. All right. No, I just want to, because I was going to use that in the headline, Miss America Meltdown. I love clickbait headlines.
Let me get it in real quick. Miss America headline. We talked about in the show. They eliminated the swimsuit competition, opened the evening gown to be more than just gowns. Now, over 22 or 25 state organizations are demanding the resignation of Gretchen Carlson, who's running the organization, saying that they weren't listened to, that they want to still keep the swimsuit in. And a couple former Miss Americas, two of whom I know very well, Kate Schindel and Laura Kepler from Wisconsin, both resigned from the board recently, saying they can't take this pressure, that's going on. You just can't get it together. And then 30 Miss Americas came and wrote in Gretchen's defense again. So, and I hate it though too, Mark. If you Google it, the media is blowing this story up like catfight and all this other shit.
Well, I said meow, and then I thought I probably shouldn't do that. But it was
that was naughty.
I was kidding.
It was naughty, Mark. You were naughty responding that way to me. But anyway, we don't know what's going to happen when the show airs in September. We don't know if there will be a swimsuit or not. We don't know if Gretchen Carlson will be involved in the organization. Onward, your turn.
So much suspense.
It's terrible.
I got one little quick thing, and then I'll actually do my big thing, and you do your big thing, and we'll do each other's big things.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's not what I meant. Was I being naughty again?
I didn't understand what you were saying. Just kidding. You were. Okay, go.
Well, I think about health insurance a lot because I'm working in a deli for the health insurance for me and Frank. And I think, am I going to have to just do this till I'm 65? I think I am. And the Republicans, I mean, once again, the Trump administration, like the last couple of days, took another big swipe at the ACA by saying they're going to suspend these payments, risk adjust payments, that's part of the law. It's part of the law. It's not something he can get rid of with an executive order. But they're saying because there's a lawsuit from some small insurance companies and competing rulings that they're going to just suspend these payments. They're doing everything they can to ruin the Affordable Care Act. And the people it really hurts are people like me, not the people on Medicaid, because they don't have to worry. It doesn't matter what the premiums are. They're on Medicaid. And people with subsidies, in case anyone's not been paying attention for the last 6 or 7 years. If you get a subsidy, it goes up when the premium goes up. So if you're getting a subsidy and your insurance is costing you $100 a month, it's going to keep costing you $100 a month. But the people who really get slammed are people like me who make too much for a subsidy. And I just don't see how I could ever afford health insurance without the job. But this is an example. It says this tweet captures the state of healthcare in America. An accident on a Boston subway platform last Friday, described in gory detail by local reporter Maria Kramer as it unfolded. And then she retweeted. This was retweeted by thousands of people from her. Quote, awful scene on the Orange Line. A woman's leg got stuck in the gap between the train and the platform. It was twisted and bloody. Skin came off. She's in agony and weeping. Just as upsetting, she begged no one call an ambulance. Quote, it's $3,000, she wailed. I can't afford that. That's America. That's healthcare in America in a nutshell. And then are you ready for my big topics?
That's a big topic, though, man.
It is. Right. It's horrible because I know it's just so frustrating because, part of it is that I'm married, and once you get married, it's one income. So I could get cheaper insurance if I were single, but I'm certainly not getting divorced for health insurance. So I'm just going to work till I'm 65 and hope my body lasts because I got to tell you, Rick, Mondays are rough. I'm exhausted from 4 days of working in a grocery store. It's really tough, and nothing's going to happen in between now and when I'm 65. Bernie's not going to win the presidency. We're not going to have universal health care. So anyways, here's my big thing. And it was really fascinating. It was an article in New York Magazine. What if Trump has been a Russian agent since 1987? And it goes back to, and people, it's so easy to dismiss these things as, oh, that's crazy, that's insane. That's what they said about Trump running for president. And I had said earlier in the show that the media, people are just not paying attention. They think everything's been normalized. But this article was really fascinating about how Trump suddenly in 1987, he went to Moscow. And right after that was when he started attacking NATO, started accusing the Western countries of, ripping America off. It's really bizarre. His behavior is incredibly bizarre. And I think it's very possible. And I'm hoping that most of what Mueller discovers comes out, whether it results in anything or not. I just want the American public to have the truth about Donald Trump and Russia and all of this stuff. I just want the facts. Whether they impeach the man or not, I don't really care at this point. But there's a guy who wrote a book. This is where I'm going to end here. I just got to pull up some pictures because I do screenshots. Do you do that to try and remember stuff?
That's how I do it, and I save them on my phone. That's what I read from when we talk. Yeah. I
Okay,
love it.
here it is. Malcolm Nance on Trump. We're quote on the. He wrote a book called "The Plot to Destroy Democracy," and I think I might read this one. He said on Trump, "We are quote on the cusp of losing the American constitutional republic forever." He really believes that because I've been asking like what. There's so many dire warnings about the where our country's going, and I've been thinking, well, like what does that mean? What's America going to be like after this? Like, what's actually going to happen to the country if it's an autocracy? Because I've never understood. I just read all these dire things. But he believes that, here it is. We are up against, this is his quote in an interview. We are up against, it's a long one, so bear with me, and then I'll be done.
No, please, yeah.
Quote, we are not up against one man. We are up against 40% of the American public who don't understand what's going on because they only believe Donald Trump. What we must do now is commit ourselves to the American democratic experiment and the best spirit of the founding. If we turn out like this year like it was a presidential election, then we will win in a phenomenal landslide. You must vote like your life depends on it because it could. If you're a woman that might need an abortion, it could if you're a Latino. It could if you're a young black man, where shootings can now essentially be written off with a rubber stamp. When this nation was built out of my city, and I'm getting cut off there, is Philadelphia is where he's from. But anyways, it really hammered home to me that this is an extremely crucial election coming up here, and the odds are, it's an uphill climb because of gerrymandering and everything and voter suppression, but we must take the House because he said in his article he believes, and this is where he started to say things that I've been curious about, like what does a post American democratic country look like? That the Republicans, if we lose the midterms, he believes there's no stopping Trump, and that the Republican Party probably would get rid of the filibuster. They could amend the Constitution. They could essentially make sure that that we have one party rule for the foreseeable future, and our country is over.
Mm.
So he said 65% of the public could be living under, could be threatened. Because basically you're going to have all these Trump supporters running the country and doing whatever they want to do. So we'll see.
I just took a break, a little respite.
I don't blame you.
No, it's deep stuff. Just changing gears. Hey, you could two little stories I was going to talk about. Coffee really does help you live longer. A recent study showed that 500,000 people surveyed in the UK that when you drink more coffee, if you're a coffee lover, you will live longer. I can't get into the details.
Good. I drink a lot of it. I'm going to live a long time.
And when you're drinking it, what might not help sustain your life, but sure would taste good, is that new Oreo flavor. Did you see? They came out with a Good Humor strawberry shortcake flavor for the summer.
Oh, I like that. Does that make you live? Yeah, but do you live longer?
I don't. It probably takes, drink the coffee, eat a cookie, probably balances itself out. Okay. I'm guessing. All right, so I want to refer to this study that was done by the LGBT community. They said for years we've always studied how many people are gay. We grew up thinking 10% is what we heard in the United States. Now they're saying, or they have been saying for the last 5 years or so, that it's 4 to 5%, just 4 to 5% identifies LGBTQ. I don't know what that's attributed to or not, but this study that was done by BuzzFeed News and Whitman Insight Strategies that was conducted as one of the most comprehensive national polls to date. It was done this year, and it's really interesting. They asked more than 100 questions about gender, sex, politics, family, and discrimination to identify deeper things. Like, for instance, there are more lesbians than gay men in the United States.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Where are they?
I don't know, but it says...
I see a bunch of them at work, but go ahead.
But that's interesting. And they also say that of those two communities, when we break it down to the lesbians and the gays, that lesbians, and so funny because as we know, gay can refer to both, but in this case, I'm referring to gender. Lesbians are more prone to use drugs, illegal drugs, and gays are more prone to drink.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
Well, it's fashionable. Kind of, the whole martini glass.
Pinky out.
Judy, what's her name kind of thing.
I lied. Women are not more prone to do drugs. They're more prone to smoke, and the gay men are more prone to drink.
Oh, okay? Wow. Okay.
Poll also finds that gay men also have more sex than lesbian women.
All right.
More than half of LGBTQ Americans are Christian, and nearly half of all LGBTQ people identify as bisexual or queer. So not just pure lesbian or pure
Okay,
gay, like
times are
old
changing.
school.
Yeah, I get it. Things are
Yeah,
changing.
interesting. Another thing that I found interesting, overall, LGBTQ people are 67% white and 33% non-white, which is very close to the national census figures. That's interesting
Wow.
to me.
Interesting. I like that breakdown.
So I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to break this down out to my final quote. You're not mocking me, right? You did find
No,
that.
of course not, Rick. I just always sound like I'm mocking people. People often think I'm mocking them, and I'm not.
I love that about you.
No, but I'm being supportive. I like, oh yeah, I thanks, have a great day and stuff. I'm not making fun of anybody.
No, I know you're not. I just had to be clear and queer about it, because if I was next to you, I would literally do one of those things, like pretend I was grabbing your nose, and I wasn't really, and I'd pretend it was between my two fingers, like I saw
I like
your
that.
nose.
Yeah, I like
that.
Yeah.
Don't. I'm just giving the audience a little visual, because we should be beyond just the voice. All right. So did you know? And so my quote ties in with the LGBT community. We've talked about this before, about are we breaking apart or becoming together? I don't know. You know, like you referenced the story earlier. God, I said that all show long. Reference. But anyway, I think it's interesting that the rainbow flag, the colors represent our community. I didn't know that. Like, each color is determined to symbolize something.
Yeah.
Red is. Did you know that?
No, I knew that each color was symbolized something like
I didn't know that.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, red is life, orange is healing, yellow is sunlight, green is nature, harmony, peace is blue, and purple and violet refers to spirit. But I found a great quote. Originally, it was a Dolly Parton quote, oddly.
Oh, said, wow.
And now you're mocking me.
No, but that's so serendipitous. Like,
I know, when you said it earlier, I was
quote.
like,
that's
oh
who's
my
going to voice me.
We're on the same page. Well, I posted that quote on my Facebook page. If you want to find me, guys, it's Rick Rose. I'll accept your friend request, because I'm benevolent like that. But anyway, that quote said, if you expect a rainbow, you better expect the rain. I liked it. But
I love that.
I
love
that. It's cool. It's on my Facebook page, Mark. But Lord Byron is the quote I'm going to end with, that I really liked, because I like to sound very, Lord Byron.
He's very queer, by the way.
Yeah, very. Well, yeah. Well, that's why. And Dolly's not, but she's queer friendly, I think.
Yeah.
Should hope so.
She's an ally.
Lord Byron quote to end the show: "Be thou the rainbow in the storms of life, the evening beam that smiles the clouds away and tints tomorrow with prophetic ray."
Oh, I like that. And it ends on such a hopeful note.
It does.
Because I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I can get upset about stuff, but I really am. Basically, I'm at peace with things, and I'm kind of an observer. But I'm going to vote. But I'm not gonna I know too many people let everything that's going on just kind of like poison their lives. I'm not gonna do that. Nope.
But we're also going to speak up, and we're going to march.
Absolutely.
I wish I was in Chicago for the march next week, but
we're gonna vote.
Anyway, thanks for talking to me, Mark. I appreciate it.
Show 71 next week. I mean, 2 weeks from now, because next week we're going to Delaware.
Okay, cool. And let's talk later about our Jolly Good campaign. Mark and I do some advertising work for a soda company in the Midwest. They launched 2 new flavors. You probably saw it this week: blue raspberry
and pina colada.
They did, and
sister of Margarita, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. We recorded those scripts, Mark, so they're coming out, guys. We do a little web series. We'll talk about it next week, because we really should support the cause of Jolly Good Soda so people can follow our humor, because we think we're funny.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Bye.
See you later. Bye, guys.